Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? And welcome to another edition of the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. My name is TJ Jones. Thanks for checking out the podcast. I really do appreciate it. Well, Who Dat Nation, Super Bowl 53 is over, but everybody seems to be talking about Boycott Bowl #1. That's right, Boycott Bowl #1, a citywide protest because of the controversial non-call in an NFC Championship game. The Who Dat Nation said, we want no part of the Super Bowl. Nobody wants to see Super Bowl live. We are not watching this foolishness. As a matter of fact, we're going to throw a party bigger than a Super Bowl. And I have to say, the Who Dat Nation, they came out and they represented for the New Orleans Saints. And not only did they come out and represent, they gave a huge middle finger to Commissioner Roger Goodell and the National Football League. And not just the people in New Orleans, but the whole state of Louisiana. Super Bowl 53 was the lowest rated Super Bowl in a decade. And it was the lowest rated Super Bowl in the state of Louisiana in history. The only Super Bowl that was the lowest was, of course, the 2017 Super Bowl when the Atlanta Falcons laid an egg against the New England Patriots. But trust me, Who Dat Nation, we're going to get into them Falcons later. But let's talk about Boycott Bowl. Now, first off, I just want to say this. The New Orleans Saints fans are the best fans in the National Football League. Look, I don't want to hear it. Look, I know we probably got some Cowboys probably listening to this podcast. Probably got some Eagle fans listening to this podcast, some Steeler fans. Man, forget that. The New Orleans Saints fan base is the best fan base in the National Football League because I have seen things happen in the National Football League that were controversial, that happened to other teams, and I have never seen a fan base respond like the Saints fans responded on Super Bowl Sunday. I can think back to Tom Brady against the Oakland Raiders in the divisional round of the playoffs when the whole Tuck Rule situation took place. It didn't stop Oakland Raider fans from watching the Super Bowl. I can think of the whole Deflategate situation with the Indianapolis Colts and, ironically, the New England Patriots. It didn't stop the Colts fan from watching the Super Bowl, and I did it. The New Orleans Saints fan base is the best fan base on planet Earth. And that's why I want to say this to all other fan bases that have been getting on the Saints for weeks, talking about Saints fans, talking about we're whiners, we're criers, we're complainers. I want you all to know that we don't give a damn what you think. Because we not only cheer for our team, we bleed black and gold through our soul. This only comes from years of hurt and pain and anguish. And if you're a Saints fan like me, being called a whiner and a complainer don't mean nothing to me because I have been a part of some of the most heartbreaking losses in the history of the Saints franchise. I can remember back with the whole Halloween game, the Cleveland Browns taking on the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints had a lead with a few seconds left on the clock, and Tim Couch, that's right, Tim Couch, one of the worst quarterbacks in the history of the NFL, threw a Hail Mary, and the Cleveland Browns beat the Saints in the Superdome on a Hail Mary. I can remember the Jacksonville Saints game when the Saints, all they had to do was win the game, and they would have got a spot in the playoffs. The Saints pulled off one of the greatest miracles I have ever seen. I'm talking about a backwards toss to Michael Lewis, a backwards toss to Jerome Payton. I'm talking about a backwards toss to Deuce McAllister. They did this all the way to the end zone. And all John Carney, the kicker, had to do was make an extra point. And I'm not talking about these new extra points. I'm talking about when it was at the 19-yard line and he missed. Man, do you think that we actually care that you all call us whiners and complainers? We know that it was an injustice. The only reason why other fans don't want to call it that, let's just be honest about it. It's because the Saints beat your ass this season. I mean, look who's talking. We got the Eagles fans who have lost to the Saints twice. We talking about the Minnesota Vikings fans who lost to the Saints. And of course, we're talking about the Atlanta Falcons who have not beaten the Saints since 2017. I'm going to say that again. We're talking about the Atlanta Falcon fans who have not beaten the Saints since 2017. The Saints have beaten the Atlanta Falcons 3 times in a row. And since I'm talking about Atlanta, let me spend a little time on Atlanta if I can. The Atlanta Falcons, once again, their fan base has shown me that they are a bunch of casual fans. And not only are they casual, they're pathetic casual fans. Now, you had all these Falcon fans hitting up New Orleans Saints social media pages, trying to troll the Saints fan base on all of the social media outlets, talking about the Saints suck, talking about the Saints blew that, they screwed that, talking about the Saints are not good. Y'all thought y'all was going to Atlanta. Well, Atlanta Falcon fans, how does it feel to take not 1, not 2, but 3 L's? Allow me to elaborate if I can. L number 1, the fan base, or lack thereof, of the Atlanta Falcons wanted to put a billboard up in New Orleans. They wanted to put a billboard up in New Orleans. They collected their little money, you know, their little lemonade money, and they decided to try to put a billboard up. But they realized nobody in the state of Louisiana would take their money. Why? Because we love the Saints. L. L number 2. You all basically turned your back on your own fan base. Yes, you did. There were logos going around with Atlanta Falcons colors on Los Angeles Rams logo, talking about the Atlanta Rams, showing your support to the Los Angeles Rams. How pathetic is that? I have never, in my many years of supporting the New Orleans Saints, I have never put another team's logo or colors up anywhere in support of them at all. Your pathetic fan base went as far as putting your team colors on another team's logo. You did all that, and the Rams lost in the Super Bowl. L. And my favorite L of all, the team that embarrassed you, in front of the whole nation when you all had a 25-point lead in the Super Bowl, came all the way back in overtime and beat you, are celebrating their 6th championship in your stadium. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. I just thought of a 4th L. Not only did you fail trying to put up a billboard, not only did you take a L by putting your team colors on another team's logo, not only did you take a L by having to watch a team that humiliated you in the Super Bowl win in your stadium, but now you, the Atlanta Falcon fan base, were the hosts of the worst watched Super Bowl in the past decade. Congratulations, Atlanta. Congratulations. But back to the Boycott Bowl. The New Orleans Saints fans really showed their solidarity, and they really showed that they actually love their team. And we are looking forward to next year. We're looking forward to next year, man, and hopefully the Saints can recapture some of that magic that they had this season. And yeah, it's a little bit disappointing because we didn't get the outcome that we wanted for our team. But look on the bright side. The Atlanta Falcons look much worse than the Saints, as always. But this has been the State of the Saints podcast. Check out the State of the Saints podcast on YouTube. Go to youtube.com, search the State of the Saints podcast. Also, the State of the Saints podcast is on Twitter. Go to Twitter and follow at SOTS Podcast 8. That's SOTS Podcast 8. And of course, previous episodes are available on iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio.com. Till next time, all I have to say is, who dat?